Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an impression on Vertical Drop Heroes, developed by Dork Productions and on sale on Steam at the regular price of $7. So what is Vertical Drop Heroes? To put it in a nutshell, is essentially another addition to the ever-growing library that is roguelikes, or roguelites, or procedural death labyrinths. Whatever you want to call the genre, that's what this game is, alright? But it does put a little bit of its own spin on it, where most dungeons in this genre, you'll either be looking from the top-down perspective, where you have 360-degree movements, or you're going left and right, side-scrolling for the most part. Well, Vertical Drop Heroes kind of changes that a little bit and move the players mostly downwards. Now, you're still moving left and right, but the whole point of the game is to drop vertically as a hero. Hence, Vertical Drop Heroes. But anyways, let's explore a little bit of the game and what it has to offer. I do want to remind the folks out there that's watching, I am playing the Press Edition, as you can see on the screen. It is a little bit different from the Consumer Edition, I guess you can call it. I don't know what exactly are the changes. I would expect most of the game is going to be the same. But do keep in mind, my edition is slightly different. Let's take a look at some of the options. Pretty limited, but it is a 2D sprite game, and it's somewhat expected with these types of games. There is split screen available, so that's great for local play as well as local LAN, which is great. I don't think there's any multiplayer online, but honestly this game is fine single player. So there is that. Game options, we already explored that. And that's basically it as far as features. So let's get into the game. Yep. Now, when you start the game, or when you start a dungeon, you can choose from a variety of different heroes, and they are randomly generated, much like most of this game. The characters are quite modular, as you can see, and there'll be a makeup of a variety of different HP stats, attack damage, weapons, and special abilities as well. You can see that on the screen. So it's a little bit like I would compare it to Rogue Legacy. I think that's a fair comparison, or at least one that comes to mind really quickly. So let's see. Let's choose the Oxy tier. Sure, Onyxy tier. Alright, we're going to choose her. Now, when you choose a character, you're thrown into this hub area. Alright, and this is our character. Now, in this hub area, much like Rogue Legacy, is not, I would say, or some people would argue, a quote-unquote true rogue, in that your progress isn't completely resetted. You can actually upgrade various stats, like your attacks right here. You can spend gold and upgrade your attack by talking to that gentleman there, and you can pay money to upgrade your magic over here through this mysterious stranger. And there's also some tutorial NPCs here that you can talk to. They'll explain certain aspects of the game. This guy is kind of a dick, actually. He resets the game completely. I didn't know that, and I just clicked him, and not just then, but before. So don't click that guy if he's in your game, unless you want to reset your game. And this guy here upgrades the amount of XP you gain on the initial start of the game, because there's like bonus XPs and all that stuff. And this red thing here, I'm just kind of going through the HUD area real quick. This red thing here is your way into endgame or Game Plus, whatever you want to call it. Now, I have it available right off the bat because I'm playing the press copy. I don't think that's going to be in the regular copy, so do keep it in mind. And all these stones are basically just representations of certain abilities and items and yada 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 that you've unlocked throughout the game. So there you go, that's basically the main HUD. So let's actually get into a game, explore what that's all about. So as you can guess from the name, it's all about dropping downwards, alright? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just collect as much loot as we possibly can while dropping down in this randomly generated dungeon and killing mobs and avoiding damage. Essentially what you would expect from a roguelike or roguelite or procedural death labyrinth, etc, etc. Alright, now it's kind of interesting because, you know, this being a Vertical Drop Heroes game, you can't really make your way all the way back up, alright? You can only do it if you find special stones that teleport you all the way back up, which allows you to get, you know, regain lost treasures that you've missed, or abilities that you never had an opportunity to get, etc, etc. So this way of dungeon crawling does present a couple of unique strategies that's usually not seen in roguelikes. There is a slight puzzle aspect almost in that you kind of want to think about your path in which you're dropping, because let's say I'm dropping all the way on the left, I could miss the loot that's on the right, and there might not be a teleport pad to get myself back up there to get the missing loot, so there is that. So it is kind of interesting. It does serve up a unique metagame, if nothing else, but everything else you can pretty much expect from what you've seen in other roguelikes. Now, it is pretty enjoyable for the most part. You know, getting the new abilities and getting the new characters and weapons and all that kind of good stuff really is going to be the driving force to keep you playing the game. Now, there is a lot of different modular things to collect. Like I mentioned before, characters and abilities and weapons and all that sort of stuff. And because of that, that's going to really help drive the player to continue playing forward. Now again, because, as I mentioned before, this isn't the most hardcore of hardcore roguelikes I've ever played. Now, to be fair, I'm not an expert in roguelikes. I'm not particularly exceptional in them. Some of them I'm pretty okay with. I think I'm pretty good at Abyss Odyssey as well as the dungeoning. But regardless of that, I'm still not, you know, the player to go to when it comes to this genre of games. But with that said, I have played more challenging roguelikes than Vertical Drop Heroes. But that doesn't, you know, that doesn't lower its enjoyment value of the game any more than what it actually is, because it is quite enjoyable, I must say. Now, I'll be completely honest, I'm not a huge fan of the visuals, alright? It does have a pseudo Castle Crashers kind of look to it, and I like Castle Crashers, and I like the way it looks, but I find this is kind of hopefully, if the developer's watching, they don't take offense to this, but it kind of feels like the cheap man's Castle Crashers as far as graphical styling's going. So, you know, it's cutesy, it's passable, it has a really nice color palette, and overall, it's fairly nicely designed, but it's just not the highest quality as far as the visual is concerned. But regardless of that, it's not ugly. And the real star of this game is definitely its overall mechanics as well as the gameplay. I do enjoy going down the dungeons, the different assortments of dungeons, and doing my best and all that sort of stuff. But the most enjoyable aspect of this game is discovering all the different abilities and different characters that you can collect through playing, and discovering the many metas and many kind of modular possibilities that this game has to offer. That's definitely going to be the driving force. It's definitely the aspect that I found that I've enjoyed the most as far as Vertical Drop Heroes is concerned, alright? So there you go, that's basically what the game is. You know, you can expect the usual mechanics. I didn't go overly in detail about them because I think you guys kind of know what to expect. You gotta have keys to unlock chests. You know, you have to find a portal to exit. Relatively at higher levels anyways, the game can get quite challenging, which is quite expected from roguelikes. Find treasure and not die. That's essentially the bare bones explanation of the mechanics, and this is pretty much what you expect from a roguelike. This is pretty much, very much like a roguelike. Alright, so we just kind of died. Maybe I shouldn't say roguelike, maybe I should say roguelite, or even procedural death labyrinth. Either way, you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? I apologize if, this, you know, the terminology I use does offend anybody out there, but I think I get the point across, and that's really the important part. So here I am, I'm just selecting another hero to play as. So that's basically it, guys. I basically showed you the game in a nutshell. I'll quickly go into the end game, seeing how I have the option to, being the press copy, and do my outro here. So I do appreciate you guys watching, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions or comments, do feel free to leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them for sure. And if you enjoyed this or found this informative in any way, you know, show me some love, like, share, fave, and comment, but most importantly, help me grow, feed me my vegetables, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Alder shout out.